how do you even think about defining what muscle is?
I one of the things that I really noticed as a writer, of course, and also a person who inhabits a body is the language. I always love how language gives us away, right? So we talk about muscling through things and gritting through things, and it's a heavy lift, and be flexible or relax, or it's a stretch. All of these sayings, it's like
Mm.
we use them so often that we don't even think about it as being tied to the body, a bodily state, right? We're thinking about all of those expressions that I just said are things that we use in common, everyday, interactions, and they're often talking about a state of being, right? But it's all tied back to this physical body that we inhabit, and I got so excited just now talking about this that I got goosebumps, and I wanna point out one of my favorite things that I learned from this book, which is that goosebumps, uh, are these little muscle fibers, around your hair follicles, like pulling your hairs up, and that is a bodily state. That's a your these little muscle fibers are telling you how you're doing, how you're feeling, and I think that's one of the best examples I have about how thinking about muscle in this really surprising way that's another level. It's related to, of course, like, the kind of quintessential strength stuff, these big muscles that we're moving, these levers that are, mechanically moving our bones around. But it's also this very subtle, existential stuff. Like, I think that's really cool and it's really exciting, to kind of think about muscle as doing so much more for you beyond, these stereotypes of like aesthetics, right?
We I think we're at a very interesting time culturally where we
Mm,
democratize gym. We're hearing the message through the longevity industry that
mhm.
muscle and strength building is really the key to living a long time. And it's,
Right.
for Juliet and I, we sort of feel like some aspirational thing that may or may not happen to me when I'm 100, like, that's the worst reason to, like, move my body. And that we've seen this kind of very highly decorative practices now where we muscle and muscle building is a pill that I take, and it's almost like I save up all of these credits of muscle I put into a room that maybe I'll spend one day,
Mm,
and we've forgotten that the whole point of training our bodies was to be able to sort of experience the world and to interact and to play and, as Juliet says, have bodies that are built for adventure and also have bodies that are more durable that can take the hit. What do you think is the most surprising sort of thing that you're an expert in talking about the history of swimming and all these things? You've been a mover your whole life and training your whole life. Deep diving into this, what
mhm.
surprised you about this incredible organ that sort of blew you away? Besides just you say it's so pervasive, language, the feeling,
Right.
what kind of really shook you?
I did not know that muscle was an endocrine tissue. So
Mm,
everything that you just said about, muscle being the thing that you wanna use to experience the world, right? Because that's what it is for us as human beings and living animals, is that muscle being an endocrine tissue means that it not only does that, it is like constantly talking. It is sending out these messages, these molecules that travel all around your body to tell it to do things, including your brain. And like, talking this like conversation that's constantly happening with your brain and your muscle, and then all these, waking up immune cells, and controlling inflammation and ramping up your metabolism. All of that stuff is like that juice that's like flowing around your body that is all about being alive, and also about what feels good to you, like what makes you feel good and how you feel good when your body moves. And, in terms of what that allows us to do, it's everything. I mean, it is life, and I I don't think I'm exaggerating when I say that, I think muscle should kind of be, like, up on a level with your brain in a lot of ways, where, like, in the sort of hierarchy of, like, tissues and organ systems in our body, where we kind of see the brain is here, and then, like, the muscle has always been kind of, like, low down on the totem pole because it's seen as dumb. And that's sort of like the, like dumb jocks, brain versus brawn kind of stuff. And there's this funny dichotomy, I think, for a very long time of, um, you know, and I think that is also tied to like, intellectualism versus some, this kind of divorcing of mind and body, right? That sort of has been, a dichotomy for us for many, many hundreds of years. And I think that to kind of elevate muscle back to this place where it's in conversation, it's kind of in parallel, constantly chatting with your brain is actually more true about what's actually going on in your body because it is about this interplay of these systems and how we as a whole person, can kind of move through the world and enjoy this time we have. And that's what it's all about, really.